What's up, guys? Welcome back. I wanted to give you guys an update on this build. I believe in the last video I mentioned that we were planning on wrapping that, and we ended up scrapping that exhaust wrap. I believe because the wrap itself, the one that I bought is just crap, and we ended up not wanting to put it on the manifold. So the reason being is that I thought this was sitting way too close, which it somewhat is, but there's about 2 inches or so away from the manifold. So I think the coupler will be fine. I am going to wrap this once we're finally ready to bolt this completely down. Right now it's mocked up to the intercooler because I just needed to make sure that everything that we need to install is cleared, has clearance, and it's cleared, and that I do have to order worm clamps. I don't want to use the T clamps that we do have in the trunk. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I want to use the worm clamps. I've used it on my personal car, the worm clamps, and it's held 36 pounds without any issues. So I like worm clamps better than T clamps. And that, the turbo is completely bolted on. We did get the vacuum port installed, thanks to Zach, one of my buddies who got this drilled and tapped. And so that's done. So that's ready for the boost solenoid. We got the turbo completely bolted down. I don't know if I mentioned in the last video, I did have to grill this down, trim this down a little bit, the manifold. I don't know if you guys can see in the picture. Let me see if I can get a clear video of it. But there is some grinding on the manifold right there. Reason being is this boost lab, the extension for the drain, it wasn't clearing. As you can see, it's barely touching and clearing. So I had to trim that down a little bit. When we had this on, it wasn't bolted on completely, so it was loose. So obviously I couldn't tell if we had clearance. So when I went to go ahead and bolt that down completely and install the turbo, it wasn't going down. As you can see by a little bit scratch right on that drainage. So I did have to trim that down, the manifold, just slightly, about, a couple millimeters. And so I was able to go ahead and clear that. And then I made the return line for the oil for the turbo. So that's completely installed. It's -10 coming off the turbo. So that's completely installed. The feed line's also installed. I did have to clean that AN fitting that's coming off that block right there. It was completely covered in solenoid, silicone. So I had that cleaned out completely, and then went ahead and installed that. So that's completely installed. This is and then obviously to the turbo. Another thing you guys need to know, if you have noticed or not, but the turbo, the original first video, the first or second video, the turbo was not clocked correctly. It was in a weird angle, so now it's more straight. It's not fully straight, I believe, but it's straight enough where we want it to be. The reason being is obviously because of the clearance issue we're having down here. So I had to play around a little bit and then get that just right enough where we want it. So the turbo side is done. I do have to go ahead and find the hose back here for the coolant, which I am being very lazy about it, especially that hose as well. I think I did mention in the last video that I did order a hose for that, for the head and to going into this little piece right here, and ended up being very short. So thanks, Rock Auto. So I still need to find that hose, still need to order this hose as well, so we can go ahead and completely get that done. And then once that's done, I can go ahead and bolt down the valve covers, because I don't want to bolt this down and try to install that hose, because I will end up damaging the valve covers. Don't want to do that. So the plan is get those 2 hoses, we'll get those installed, get the valve covers completely bolted on with the Toyota sealant on the front where the 90 degree is. And then once that's done, my plan is to go ahead and install the coilovers, and then install the 2 vent covers, the vent hoses on the valve covers. So that'd be the top side, exhaust side, and then install the downpipe. I do need to go ahead and install the wastegate, which will go right there. I do have the wastegate sitting over there in the box. I gotta figure out first what the spring is in that currently in the wastegate. I don't know if it's been moved or changed. recently by the person who originally worked on this car. So I got to double check and got to check with the tuner to make sure what he recommends and I also figure out what the power goal is for this motor, because I still don't know what this customer wants for power wise. So yeah, the fan is installed, if you can, as you can tell, and I just got done putting the radiator on just as a mock-up, just to see exactly how much room I have, and to see exactly how everything sits. So I might take the radiator out just because I don't want to damage it. But I got the fan installed. It is completely bolted down. I got the belt installed as well. I do need to get the lower radiator hose installed, just so I got to make sure that everything else here has proper clearance, and then I do got to get this clamped up. So pretty much on this side we're almost done. Let's go on the intake side. Oh, I forgot to mention, look at this sexy thing right here. That's beautiful. So that's the tile blow off. I got that installed last night, and it's sitting pretty beautiful here. So, and then also we have the intercooler, gigantic intercooler. So let's get on the other side. So intake side, a lot of things to talk about. One, let me take this out and put this here for now. Intake side, let's start from the bottom. I don't recall if I mentioned, we talked about the starter. I had the starter installed. We were missing 2 bolts. I went to his hardware and matched the bolts that we need. So that's completely installed. Let's talk on the bottom. We do have the blackout plate. Remember the sensor, the oil level sensor we were not using. I went ahead and ordered this from, where did I order this from? I ordered this from eBay. I'm kind of disappointed. The 4 bolts that I got from with the blackout plate, they were wrong, or at least what I think they are wrong, because when you go ahead and try to bolt that down, the bolt is completely short. It's like a tiny ass bolt, and I don't understand why they think that the bolt would work. Let me show you guys what they look like. These little bolts. I mean, you can see they're like size of my nail. They're too short, and when I went to go ahead and put it and install them, they weren't working out. So I went and used the original bolts that were there. I believe those are the original ones. I had them in the bag. So I do still need to order the dipstick. That's why that hole's still there. So I might pull that block plate out. I just noticed that, as you can see, all the way at the edge, there's a little dark piece. That's the O-ring. So I might have to pull that out and fix that. I'm kind of disappointed in this plate. I have a different plate. I believe I bought it from Toyota when Kurt used to work here at Elmer's Toyota. But since he's no longer there, I don't know if Toyota's still selling those block plates. So I ordered this from eBay, which was 30 bucks. I'm kind of disappointed as I went to go ahead and install it, and I just noticed that O-ring sticking out. So not happy about that. I might pull that out and try to figure out what I need to do there. I might use the Toyota Fibbage on the circle block plate, and then go ahead and install that back, so that way that it's permanently installed and no leaks. So that's that. Another thing to talk about, this little guy, the adapter. This is where the oil pressure is going to be going. I don't know if one of these, on my previous videos, I had mentioned about the union bolt. We ordered the union bolt that has a little bit where the sensors goes. I believe it's the 9798 Mark IV Supers that have this, as well as the IS300 guys motors. And so we went ahead and ordered this little adapter, which was off Amazon, which is like 10 bucks. I had installed this on the previous build that I did on a 88 Toyota Supra with the 2JZ VVTi. And so this is where we're going to be installing that oil sensor. The GTE motors, the non-VVTIs, obviously have the sensor there. There is a sensor here as well. I have that on my car. I don't have this bolt, and there's a drift motion little line that comes off this, and then you install a sensor. Mine's kind of leaking. I've noticed it, and it looks like crap. So I'm probably going to be doing that this thing on my motor when I decide to pull my motor out. eventually down the road. But this is great to have adapter, and then obviously the sensor goes here. It's a nice look. It looks very clean. So I just wanted to show you guys how this looks. This is $10. I'll try to put the link to in my description if anybody's looking for this adapter. And then obviously the Union bolt, which is like 30 bucks, I think. So that's that. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is this fuel rail. So obviously I got a wrinkle, I spray canned this. So it came out pretty decent. There is a little bit of marks here and there, which I'm not happy about. I do not want to overspray this, just because now the weather is cold and also the injectors are installed, and I don't want to take it out and spray it and stuff like that. So it's hardly noticeable unless you point it out. So I went to go ahead and install this yesterday. Ran into a little bit of issues. One is these bungs, these rubber bungs that's on here. I don't like them, but they work. They're rubber. I have hard ones on my car. When I went to go ahead and install this, they were just moving around, coming out. I wasn't happy about that. So what I did was I put Toyota Fibich on these guys, all on the other side, and then installed them so that way they stay in one place and then they don't leak. I did this on my car. I know a lot of people do this as well. So did that, and then I went ahead and installed a fuel rail. SP fuel rail, beautiful piece. If anybody's looking to, purchase a fuel rail, reach out to Sound Performance. Beautiful fuel rail. So that's that. What else? I did mention this in my last video. Got a bracket, AC bracket installed. Used to be AC here, the compressor. Since we're not running the AC, I do recommend getting this bracket. It's from Excessive Manufacturing. I'll try to put a link in the description. It's like $65. I have the same bracket before this previous revision. So yeah, great thing to have, just so that, and great thing to run actually, because when you're not running AC and you don't have this bracket, this has a tendency to have a lot of play, and the belt will pop off. I've seen it happen on someone's belt. So great investment. What's left to do? Fuel lines, fuel pump, and then the wiring. So I'm still waiting on my buddy to come by. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I am gonna start looking at researching and see exactly how people ran fuel line from the back to the front, from the pump, and where to mount the fuel regulator, and because I want everything to look nice and clean and not messy. So that's the biggest thing that's left to do. And then obviously we need to order a drive shaft. I do need my buddy to measure the drive shaft from the trans to the diff, and then order from Drift Motion. That's the plan. And then when that's done, we're gonna go ahead and put fluid in the transmission once the drive shaft comes. Obviously the fuel lines needs to be done. Once that's done, we can go ahead and install the lower intake. I do have the upper intake over there. I do need to clean that up a little bit and wrinkle black it. There are some coolant lines we're not using on that, and then also certain vacuum lines, so I gotta figure those out as well. Once that's done, I can go ahead and install the intercooler piping, start bolting down everything, double checking everything, triple checking everything, and then go ahead, possibly start this thing. Hopefully, the plan was to start this end of this month, which as of right now, it does not look like that's happening. So possibly next month, November. I do want to get this car running before the end of the year and out. So thanks for watching, guys. Follow, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. More videos to come. Thank you.